right. So I think there has been a break in our sessions. So I'll just quickly rewind what we did in the previous sessions. We began the this session of foundation classes with biology. We started with cell, the structure of cell, the nucleus, and we then shifted to tissues. We first understood about basic plant tissues, the difference between plant and animal tissues. We learned about plant tissues, the types of plant tissues, that are simple, first of all meristematic and then permanent tissues. We have completed meristematic tissues, which consists of apical meristem, lateral meristem, and intercalary meristem, right? Then we shifted to permanent tissues, and we have understood the first type of permanent tissues, that is simple permanent tissues. Now, in simple permanent tissues, we have learned about three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. That was our previous session. We also learned a bit about epidermis in that session. So from there we will continue understanding epidermis, that is basically the skin of plant. Epidermis always stands for skin, and skin is nothing but the outer layer of any living organism. So in plants, epidermis is the outer layer of the plant structure, and one of the most important parts of epidermis is stomata. So today we will understand about stomata, and then we will shift to another type of permanent tissues, that is complex permanent tissues, and we have two types, xylem and phloem. Uh, in the ninth class NCRT textbook, you are not given much about xylem and phloem, but you have definitely learnt a lot about it in your previous classes. In this session, I will explain you what is given in your NCRT, and what I want you to do is, I want you to gather bullet points, that is small details, minute details. We don't want entire descriptive answers. We want minute details on xylem and phloem. When we move into that topic, I'll explain what I'm asking you to do. Uh, that will be your assignment for this session. Let's begin with stomata today. I'll share my screen. I'll present the presentation. Wait a minute. Once I start sharing, please let me know if I'm audible and the screen is visible or not. Okay. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. See, you already have learned about stomata in previous classes also. I know that. And you have a detailed knowledge of what stomata is. Can anyone just give me a brief on what stomata is, what you remember from your previous classes? What do you mean by, what do you understand by stomata? Anyone, please? No one? That's surprising. Because this is basic 6th, 7th class biology. We have learned in about plants and animals. All right, let's move ahead. See, stomata are basically the tiny pores that the epidermis, that is the outer layer of leaf, contains. Stomata are pores. Basically, they are small holes through which many activities are happening. One is exchange of gases, another is water intake, and uh, transpiration, that is removal of water, that is extra water is lost from the plants in the form of transpiration, that we call it in the form of water vapor, which we call transpiration. Now, why stomata are so important? If you look at this figure, if you look at this diagram, this is a single stoma. uh, a singular is stoma and plural is stomata. If you look at this, these are as you can see, uh, the label says guard cells. Okay, what do they do? This is a single stoma, this is a single pore in the leaves. So what happens is when guard cells contract, there is the stomata gets closed, and when they when they contract, the stomata opens, the stomatal pore which you can see here opens, and whatever uh, exchange has to take place. That is, during daytime they take in oxygen, during night they take in carbon dioxide, I'm sorry, and during night time they give out carbon dioxide. I hope you know that about plants, that they also respire by taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide, but only during the daytime when sunlight is available they perform the process of photosynthesis, and hence they need carbon dioxide for that. So during daytime, the plants give out oxygen and take in carbon dioxide. This happens through contraction and relaxation of guard cells, as you can see here. This is a complete plant cell in which you can see chloroplast, you can see epidermal cell, you can see the inner wall, inner thick wall. Subsidiary cell is nothing but the nucleus of the cell, of the epidermal cell. You can see vacuoles in the plant cells as we understood before, and you can see the nucleus of inner cells, inner guard cells. These guard cells, when they relax, the stomatal pore gets closed, and when they contract, they open, and transpiration can take place, and even exchange of gases can take place. Are we clear?
Yes,
Say yes
ma'am.
or no, please. Okay. Now, this was about epidermal cells of leaf. What about epidermal cells of roots? What they do is they perform the function of water absorption. The cells in the epidermis of the roots of plants, they absorb water, and to absorb water, obviously they need to have larger surface area. The most convenient way to increase surface area on any surface is to have tiny hair-like structures, which will increase the absorptive surface area. So they commonly bear what commonly bear the epidermal cells of the roots. They commonly bear long hair-like parts that greatly increase the total absorptive surface area. Then there is a contradiction in plants depending on their habitat. Now, if we talk about desert plants cannot afford to lose water every now and then, right? In normal terrestrial plants, what happens is the stomatal pores keep on opening and closing, and they give out water every now and then. That is why there is coolness around, in and around the uh, uh, forest area, or where there is more greenery, because they constantly give out water vapor. But this is not feasible, this is not efficient in desert plants. Why? Because desert plants need to store more and more water, because the roots, they do not have optimum amount of water that is needed. There is no rainfall, they cannot absorb more water in desert, so they cannot afford to lose water. So what these plants do is, they, first of all, we have understood in adaptation parts in the previous classes, that basically the leaves of desert plant get converted into thorns, right? They are thorn like structures, so that they do not lose water. Also, to prevent loss of water, the stems of desert plant also get converted into they also have the epidermis, which has a thick coating. See, in some plants like desert plants, epidermis has a thick waxy coating of cutin. Cutin is a substance with waterproof quality. So if you look at aloe vera, if you look at cactus, excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay. So if you look at the plants like cactus or aloe vera, the outer covering is extremely thick and waxy. This waxy coating, this waxy substance which we call as cutin, helps the plant to remain closed, helps the epidermis to remain completely closed so that the water loss is minimal. Okay, and once there is a growth of plants, as the plants start to convert into trees, the outer protective tissue, that is nothing but the epidermis, they undergo certain changes. What happens is basically a strip of secondary meristem located in the cortex. Cortex, like I said, it is the inner part of the epidermis. In the cortex forms layers of cells which constitute the cork. Like, you need a woody structure. Once, see, when the plant is growing in its initial years, all the parts of the plant are green, right? The stem, the roots, the leaves, they are all green. But when they grow up, some parts like branches and the trunk, they start to convert into woody parts, and that woody part is attained through this process. That is, there is a secondary meristem which is located in the cortex. It forms a layer of cells which constitute the cork, which forms the cork. These cells, the cells of cork, are dead and compactly arranged without intercellular spaces. Understand that the cells which are dead will usually be hard, they will usually be compactly arranged because they have to be permanent. They have to provide a hard structure to the plant. So these cells will have a substance which we call as suberin. Suberin in their walls that makes them impervious to gases and water. See, when the cells become dead, they should not allow certain substances to enter the plant cell because that is their function, to protect the plant cells in the inner part of the plants, right? So this substance called suberin in their walls, in the walls of the cork cells, will make them impervious. Impervious means which does not allow the entry or exit. Impervious to gases and water. This makes the woody part of plants. Are we clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any
Yes, ma'am.
question till now? That is about epidermis, which was left half in the previous session. We have finished that. Now we will move to complex permanent tissues. So do you have any questions till now? Please just say yes or no.
Ma'am, I can't understand the last point, ma'am.
About suberin or
Yes, ma'am. Suberin.
okay. See, there is a substance called suberin in. Do you understand the concept of cork cell?
Yes, ma'am.
Basically, what happens is once the plant starts to grow up, there is a layer of cells which is formed inside the cortex of the secondary meristem. Secondary meristem means the outer layer of meristematic tissue, right? There is a layer of cells which is being formed, which is dead. The cells are dead and they are compactly arranged. Now, what makes these cells hard and impervious? Impervious means the quality of not allowing the entry or exit of gases and water. Okay, so that is attained by the plant by the presence of this substance called suberin. Suberin is a substance in the outer layer of the cells, of the cork cells which are dead, which makes the cells impervious to gases and water. Like I said, like the substance cutin, that is a chemical substance with waterproof quality. Similarly, there is a substance called suberin with the impervious qualities, which will not allow the entry of gases and water inside the plant cells. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that's about stomata and the epidermal cells of other parts of plants. Moving on with complex permanent tissues. See, the permanent tissues in plants are basically those tissues which have a very specific function to perform. Uh, and there are two types of permanent tissues. One is simple, another is complex. In simple permanent tissues, we have already understood about parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. In complex permanent tissues, we have two types, which is xylem and phloem. I would like any one of you to just highlight what you know about xylem and phloem. What knowledge you have of these tissues. It is, of course, something from your previous classes. Anyone? Can anyone recall anything about these tissues?
Complex payment tissues who perform on a specific functions.
That is what I said currently. But what is the function? What does xylem
Mm,
do and what does phloem do?
mm,
Xylem is a conducting
conducting
vessel
water and minerals.
Okay.
And the
Because in your
that
ninth
carries
class,
water.
right,
phloem transports prepared food.
correct. Okay. Okay. So you know the basic functions of these. Because in your ninth class NCRT, you do not have the functions. You simply have the structure and that too not in that much detail. It is just to uh, give you idea what kind of tissues that xylem and phloem contain. Because this chapter is about tissues. But the functions and the structure. See, xylem is a conducting tissue, like you said, conducting tissue in one direction, that is from roots to top part of the plants. Why? Because xylem is responsible for transportation or conduction of water and minerals. Where are water and minerals absorbed in plants? So we say roots. So basically, xylem needs to be working in that direction, in the opposite direction of gravity, from roots towards the upper parts of plants. Correct? That is the function of xylem. We call it transportation. And phloem, the function of phloem is to transport the prepared food. That is, it works from leaves to all the parts of plants. It goes on the top also, it goes down towards the roots also. This process of transporting food from leaves to other parts of plants, we call it translocation. Okay. Now, like I said, the assignment here only you have this much for xylem and this much for phloem. What I want you to do is you need to write down in bullet points, basic bullet points, what xylem does, what is the function, and how it performs that function. I will tell you one thing, it performs the function through the process of conduction. Now you have to understand what conduction is and you have to mention that in your answer. I do not want descriptive paragraph answers. I simply want bullet points. Xylem, you will write the topic xylem. How, what does it do? So transports water and minerals. What is the direction of transport? From roots to top part of the plants. Then how it transports. So that will be hardly 5 to 7 points that I need. Same goes for phloem. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's just understand what xylem and phloem consist of. See, the xylem consists of the following. Xylem is a vascular tissue. Vascular tissue means the tissues that are responsible for transportation of any substance. Okay. So it consists of these four things: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. As you can see, this is xylem. As you can see the labels, there is xylem parenchyma. What is the function of parenchyma? To provide structural support. What is the function of vessels? To store whatever is to be transported. Tracheids, again, they give a structural support. And fibers help in more and more absorption of water and minerals. So what does this have? Tracheids and vessels have thick walls. You should know why thick walls, because they do the function of protection and storage. Tracheids basically give structural support, and vessels give storage. They provide storage for the plants. So they have thick walls and they are dead cells when mature. Tracheids and vessels are tubular structures. These tubular structures transport water and minerals vertically. The parenchyma stores food. The parenchyma and vessels, they have similar function of storing the food, and the xylem fibers are mainly supportive in nature. Are we clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So basically, the tracheids and vessels are dead cells in xylem. Others are living cells. They are living cells. Moving on with phloem. See, that's the only details that you have in your 9th NCRT. And like I said, I want other details from your end. Once you give me that in 1 or 2 days, I will give you a small interactive quiz on your groups about this session. I have not created the quiz today because I wanted you to write the assignment first. Okay. Talking about phloem, it is basically made up of 5 types of cells. As you can see here, sieve cells, sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fibers, and phloem parenchyma. Sieve tubes are tubular cells with perforated walls. Phloem transports food from leaves to other parts of the plant. Except phloem fibers, other phloem cells are living cells. Only fibers of phloem tissue are dead, other cells are living cells. As you can see, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, similar function they perform as in xylem. Pores will help in absorption of food and minerals. Companion cells will try to give structural support to the tissue. Parenchyma will give you the function or will perform the function of storage and support. And sieve tube element will help in multi-directional transportation. Is that clear? Any questions? Anyone? Please say yes or no, dear.
No, ma'am, no questions.
Okay. Okay, then this is about today's session because the details are less. We finish the session here. Your work is to give me the bullet points about xylem and phloem. Is the assignment clear or do you need to ask me anything about it?
No, ma'am.
Okay. In the next session, we will start with understanding types of animal tissues. Those sessions are very important because they are in extreme detail. Animal tissues, they have 6 types, and all are important as we will relate them with the tissues in human beings. So we will be able to understand them in much detail. There are details, there are diagrams to understand, so please do not skip those sessions from the next classes. That is, we will start to understand types of animal tissues. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll give you 5 minutes if you want to note down anything from the PDF. You can go ahead. Otherwise, I'll be sharing the PDFs in the group as well. Just go through the slides for 5 minutes, then we'll end the session. Go through the slides and just read out the points to yourself.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I can't able to get the process of companion cells, ma'am.
As you can see here, companion cells are inner cells from parenchyma. Companion cells, basically, as the name suggests, they give the phloem a support, a structural support, and they help in translocation of the food particles. They initiate the process of pushing the food particles ahead. Okay, that is the function of companion cells.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so I think everyone has read this now. Your assignment should be submitted within 2 days. Today is Friday. I want it before Sunday so that by Monday I can share a quiz that you can solve and give it to me in the group itself. All right? Yes, everyone clear?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So that's all for today. If you have any questions, please ask. Otherwise, you can leave. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, sir.